All right, the great matchmaker, Robert Diaz from Golden Boy Promotions. Robert, obviously you've scripted so many fights in Canelo's career, been involved in, those matches and what went down. You guys timed it perfectly to get him to Gennadiy Golovkin for the first fight. Obviously, the second fight was a tremendous show by Canelo, and now we're here at the trilogy fight. Canelo yesterday said some things about his pursuit of the knockout in this fight. Can that happen?
I believe it could happen on either side. I mean, these are two very talented, two fighters that know each other very well. I mean, after 24 rounds, two very strong fighters. And I think both of them want a closure.
Yeah.
And what better closure for each of them than a knockout? And I think they're both talented and smart enough that they won't go searching for it, because you search for it, you might find it.
Yeah.
On the reverse side. But I do see that very possible. I do see Canelo breaking him down, and in the second part of the fight, I think we can see a knockout.
I wanted to ask you a couple things about that pursuit of the knockout. First of all, Canelo says he's going to carry inside the ring the rage that he has long had for Gennadiy Golovkin. Obviously, the history. There's been a lot of dislike for various reasons. Is that a good thing? Is that a healthy thing? Or should a boxer separate himself from that anger and just focus on the sweet science?
In generally speaking, yes, you don't want to go in there angry, and you might be angry, but once you get in, that bell rings, you're in that ring, anger maybe goes away.
Yeah.
I think Canelo has so much experience, and he's been in there so many times. It's second nature. That anger, he's going to use it to his favor in a way he knows. I think it means I'm more aggressive.
Yeah.
Not so much I'm angry while I'm fighting. He's concentrating. He's going to be. Yeah, I think he knows his plan, and he's going to stick to it. But I think it's going to be more aggressive, because I want that knockout.
If he sees the opportunity to go for the finish, he's going
100%.
for it.
100%. And I think that on the other side as well. I mean, again, they don't want this controversial, I should have won, I should have got that. I think they both want closure, and, the hand raised. And what better way than a knockout? I mean, that's what fans are hoping for.
Absolutely. I think it was in the second fight where there was a conversation between Eddie and Canelo in the corner, and Eddie told him, quit hitting him in the head. You're not going to get the knockout hitting him in the head. And Canelo has talked about going to the body as maybe his best course of action in this fight.
In the second fight, I think that was the key. The difference between the first and the second fight was the center of the ring. In the center ring, and it was known even before the first fight, Canelo can win the inside game. Smother Golovkin, work the body, take away that power by getting inside, and weaken him little by little. Saw it in the second fight, and I saw a little bit in the Murata fight. Murata was having some success.
Yeah.
Now Golovkin, with all his experience, is a great fighter, because if you remember the second fight, he was in an awkward position the second half of the fight, pulling away that body to want to make Canelo reach more and open up to get a counter.
Yeah. It is interesting. What did you take away, by the way, from the Murata fight? Because some people will say, he got hit by Murata, and it's not a big deal that he got hit by Murata because he knew Murata couldn't knock him down. Or do you think he was open for these shots? That if Canelo lands those same shots, there's going to inflict real damage?
No, Golovkin is not the same that fought Murata. Golovkin for Saturday night will be more so the Golovkin we saw in the first and second.
You're convinced of that?
I'm convinced.
Why?
It's hard. I mean, and I'm not saying he took Murata lightly or anything, but it's hard to get up after so many fights, so many years, so many camps. There's certain fights that get you up, and I'm positive that Golovkin is up for this one, 100%. Versus Murata, I think there was date changes and going to Japan. I think he had to be there 2 or 3 I think by the time that fight, I just want to get out of here.
a lot of times I know this is the truth, whether you're going to admit it or not. Going in the fights, you would know how the fight's going to play out. I don't know that that's necessarily the case here with Canelo and Triple G, but look, for those of us who have a wad of cash and want to bet it on this fight, what should we do? Canelo by knockout, Canelo by decision, Gennadiy?
It's hard to actually predict a knockout on either side because they have tremendous chins. I mean, I don't remember a time where I could see Canelo getting stunned or Golovkin getting stunned many years ago. But in this particular fight, because I think both want that closure, Canelo by knockout.
Wow.
Yes.
What a moment that would be. What a moment.
I think Saturday night, there's going to be a lot of happy people, a lot of happy fans. And regardless, I mean, it's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, we talked about it with Canelo yesterday. And, you know, coming off the heels of the loss, there would be no better outcome possible for him, right?
I still think, people today put too much emphasis on a loss. I still have him as pound for pound the best fighter in boxing because in his weight class, there's nobody that can beat him. He took challenges that we've seen in the past, only greats do, fighting out of their division, out of their Oscar when he fought Bernard. I mean, Sugar Ray Leonard when he went up and fought Donnie Lalonde. In the past, only the greats take those risks. If Errol Spence went up to fight Golovkin right now, or Crawford to fight Golovkin, and they lost, it shouldn't diminish what they've done in their natural weights because they're going out of their comfort. And I think that's what you see with Canelo.
Real quick before you go, you got to give us an update. Is there any update on Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis?
Hopefully soon. Oscar and Eric will have some news on that.
These talks are happening.
I haven't heard yet. I've been out of town. I've been out of the office, but hopefully we'll have some updates soon.
There's no way that Ryan Garcia takes this fight without consulting you, the great matchmaker, about, hey, is this a good match for me or not? What are you saying to Ryan Garcia?
No, he's said it in the past, and Ryan's one of those fighters that, look, when a fighter comes to you, and I'll give you a great example, Zurdo Ramirez. When he came and signed with Golden Boy, first thing he said is, I want to fight Bivol. Not because he had beaten Canelo, because this was a couple years ago. I want to fight Bivol. I can beat Bivol. You have to give that fighter a lot of credit and also belief, because when a fighter believes, that confidence going into that battle, it's a good thing to have. Sugar Shane Mosley had it, and he was certain he was going to beat Margarito. And look, the confidence of a fighter is very good. And Ryan has said, from a while ago, I want Tank. And he said it to the media, he said it to the fans, he said it to us. And I think it's a great fight if we can make it happen.
So if the number one asset is the fighter's confidence, with you looking at it from technical skill angles, how does Ryan match up in that fight?
I love it. I love his speed. I love his height. I love his talent. We haven't seen the best of Ryan yet because nobody's brought it out. He hasn't met that opponent. And I think Tank is one of the best fighters in boxing. And it's a young man's sport. Remember, a lot of these great fights that we've seen, we saw them when they were 22, 23. Sugar Ray and Tommy Hearns fought in their early 20s.
Yeah.
A defeat won't ruin a career. You may learn from that and get better. So I think it's time, and they should do it.
Great. You know, it would be a sensational thing. Can you imagine, with all of their social media accounts that they have going, both of these guys bring so much to the sport of boxing. It's nothing but a great thing for the sport, right?
100%. It's what boxing needs, the best fighting the best.
Good luck bringing it to reality. Thank you so much for your time, Robert.